Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we are going to discuss some important aspects related to passages from Holy Quran, and I am going to guide you briefly how you can attempt question number 1, which is basically a compulsory question of paper 1 Islamiat paper 1 2058, and it is important for you to understand how you are required to attempt it for securing high grades. Okay. This video is going to be important for all those students who are going to now appear in O-level Islamiat, and for those teachers as well who have recently started teaching O-level Islamiyat, and for those as well who are planning to teach O-level Islamiyat. Okay. So all of you are required to watch this video till the end so that you should be able to understand what basically CIE or the Cambridge demands the students to write in the answers of selected passages from Holy Quran. Okay. So in this video, first of all, I am going to briefly introduce to you about the passages as far as the paper pattern and the syllabus is concerned. So in previous videos which can be watched on my channel, we discussed briefly paper pattern and the syllabus. So those who want some information about the paper pattern and the syllabus, so they can watch those videos. So first of all, in this video we are going to discuss briefly about the passages, and then mainly our focus will be on how to write part A answer. Okay, because the passages, this is divided by the Cambridge exams into two parts. Okay, in part A you are required to write major themes, and then in part B you are required to write about the importance of themes in a Muslim's life. Okay, so and then in the end I'll be guiding you how you are supposed to take care of some very important points, and which things you need to avoid to ensure full marks in this particular question. So let's move to now introduction. I hope all of you are well aware of the fact that there are 15 selected passages which are part of your syllabus. Starting first, they are about Allah and Himself, and then from passage number 6 to passage number 10 about Allah's relationship with the created world, and then last 5 passages are about Allah's messengers. Okay. So in paper 1, a compulsory question of 8 marks is set from this chapter. The students are given 3 passages, and out of these 3 passages they are required to attempt any 2. The students are given Arabic and English both. Okay, so it is not required for Cambridge students to learn Arabic as far as this passage is concerned. So if they want to attempt this passage, so understanding is important. However, learning or understanding Arabic is not necessary. That is something else, that if they need Arabic, so definitely they will be able to understand the words of Quran in a rather better way. So let's begin. Now we have answer structure. So when students are given 3 passages, so they need to attempt any 2. Remember that when you write the answer for one passage, so part A contains or carries 2 marks, and in the same way part B also carries 2 marks. Okay, so in the answer is structure, we are going to discuss briefly, first of all, brief introduction, okay, and then about major themes we will be discussing, and then in the end we'll be discussing how in the answer the students are required to bring at least one relevant quotation, and in the end then they need to conclude their answer. Okay, so first of all, if we talk about answer structure again, so first of all you need to write brief introduction, and then you need to bring some important relevant major themes, and then some relevant quotations. At least one relevant quotation is must, and then you need to write brief conclusion. Okay, so let's move ahead. So first of all we have few examples of brief introduction. So dear students, you are required to write 2 or 2.5 lines introduction while writing part A, and it should be very simple as given to you here as a sample answer. And this introduction is for Surah An'am, ayat number 101 to 103. So if you want to write part A answer, so first of all you need to write that the given passage has been taken from Surah An'am, which is a Makki surah, and the passage talks about Allah himself. Okay, similarly, if you are planning to write part A answer for Surah Baqarah ayat number 21 and 22, so how you can write the answer, how you can basically start your answer by writing, for example, the given passage has been taken from Surah Baqarah, which is a Madani surah. Okay, and the passage talks about Allah's relationship with the created world. Okay, so nothing else. Remember, you have to follow the pattern. Okay, so if you want to gain 4 marks and total 8 marks, so you need to be on the format and for the on the pattern. Okay, so definitely about these passages lots of things can be written. Okay, and lots of tafasir are also there, and then books are also available, but for 2 marks, okay, Cambridge and the examiner only looks for certain important things. So if you follow the pattern, okay, so you will be able to get full marks. Otherwise if you start even writing very important philosophical things, practical things, but still if they are against the pattern, so you might not be able to secure good marks. Okay, so this is how you need to write introduction, and this is how you may write introduction for rest of the passages as well. For example, about Surah Ikhlas, you may also write that the given passage has been taken from Surah Ikhlas, which is a Makki surah, and it talks about Tawheed. Okay, so this is how you need to write brief introduction. Now let's move to major themes. Okay, so as you can see here we have major themes. So when you write major themes, remember there is a difference between paraphrasing and writing major themes. Okay, so you are not supposed to just rewrite the translation in your own words. Okay, you need to basically choose major themes, and you have to understand that major themes does not in fact do not mean to write about and to comment on each and every ayah of the passage. For example, if we talk about Surah Fatiha, which is also part of the syllabus, so it contains 7 ayat, but it does not mean that you are required to comment on each and every ayah. Okay, so you need to focus on themes. So sometimes the theme of 3 or 4 ayat, uh, sometimes, or in fact, as far as the selected passages are concerned, so their theme in, is most of the time same at least for 2 or 3 ayat, and sometimes the whole passage has only one theme. Okay, so we need to focus on the theme rather than ayat. Some students, what mistake they make, so they start commenting on each and every ayah. Okay, and they start writing like this: the first ayah talks about this, the second ayah about this, and the third ayah. So this is wrong. Okay, and the wrong, and as well as this is how you in fact extend the length of your answer as well. Okay, so you need to contain the limit as well, and maximum you need to ensure that you are required to write 15 to 18 lines. Okay, not more than this. Okay, because if you start writing more only for 2 marks answer, so you won't be able to finish your paper on time. Okay, so this is how you may write major themes for Surah An'am ayat number 101, 103. This may be your first point, and then this may be your second, and then we have one more. So these could be 3 major themes. As you can go through them, the passage presents the theme of God's unity with a stress on his ability to create and control everything. Okay, furthermore, okay, so this is how you can in fact go ahead. So in part A, while writing major themes, you are supposed to focus on any important word. Okay, for example, in this surah, in this passage, we have focused the word badi. Okay, so the word badi here, it is exclusive to Allah Almighty. Okay, and as given here, so you need to briefly describe it. Okay, so if you are writing about Surah Kausar, so you are supposed to focus in part A the word Kausar. Okay, briefly describe what does it mean. If you are writing the theme for example, Ayat al Kursi, so you may focus the word Kursi. Okay, and you can write briefly its interpretation. The same case is about Surah Ikhlas. In Surah Ikhlas, for example, you may write about Samad. Okay, what does Samad mean? Okay, so this is how you need to focus the things in 3 or 4 lines. Some those words which are exclusive or which have some exclusive interpretations, and if there are different opinions, for example, as we have about Kausar, more than one interpretation, so you are supposed to write about it. Okay, so Badi, which means the one who created everything originally without having any precedence. Okay, so this is how you can write major theme. And then one more aspect may also be added. Moreover, he cannot be fully comprehended. Okay, so this is one more thing which we have just highlighted here, because God says la tudrikul absar. Okay, so this is wahuwa yudrikul absar. So we cannot fully comprehend him. So this is how Allah Almighty has clearly mentioned it, his ability, his control, his power, his authority. Okay, so what is important for us? To just follow him, and just obey him, just worship him, and we are not supposed to involve in any type of shirk or polytheism. Okay, so I hope you must have understood how to write major themes. So let's have one more example, and this is about Surah Baqarah. and this is your passage, Surah Baqarah, ayat number 21 and 22. Ya ayyuhannas u'budu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum walladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. So students, you can see this is how you can uh, write major themes for Surah Baqarah, ayat number 21 and 22. So you may write that the passage presents the theme of God's relationship with mankind and outline Allah's power to create and make arrangements for the sustenance and growth of humankind through all ages. Okay, so and then by furthermore, and then moreover, you can carry on, and you can write one more theme which is also important in, and Allah Almighty mentions, and that is about avoiding every type of sin. So Allah Almighty firstly has mentioned His favors and countless blessings which he has bestowed upon human beings, and then in return He just wants us to avoid every type of polytheism. Okay, so you are not supposed to write like firstly, secondly, thirdly. Okay, instead you should write first major theme, and then you can continue your answer by some connecting words, for example furthermore or moreover. Okay, so this is how you can develop your answer. Okay, so you must understand that you need to develop your points properly. Okay, so even if you are writing 2 points, but they should be developed well. Okay, instead of writing 3, 4 or 5 undeveloped points. Okay, so developed points, develop means you should focus or write 1 point, but describe it well, and at least describe it in 3 to 4 lines, as we have described point number 1. Okay, and then point number 2, 3 as well. So avoid writing very small sentences. Okay, and avoid switching and jumping from one theme to another theme very quickly. Okay, so develop the point properly and then move to another point. Okay, so this is how you are supposed to write passages. Okay, and then especially major themes. So this is in fact main part of your this answer. Okay, and then one more important thing is relevant quotations. Okay, relevant quotations are also very important, and at least one quotation is required for your part A answer. Okay, so for example Surah Ikhlas, which is surah number 112, it may be quoted as relevant quotation, as both the passages they talk about Tawheed, and in Surah An'am ayat number 101 to 103, Allah Almighty highlights how He is only one, and He does not have wife. And then in Surah Ikhlas, Allah Almighty says lam yalid wa lam yulad. Okay, neither He has father nor sons. So the message is almost same, but in little bit different words or with more description. Okay, so this is how you need to bring relevant quotations. So this is how you can make your answer strong and perfect. Similarly, some other quotations, one quotation is enough. Okay, and it's up to you how you bring the quotation. Okay, so it could be any. Okay, it may be Ayat al-Kursi may also be quoted, and then Surah number 7, Ayat number 7, and then Surah Baqarah, Ayat number 283. So any of these may be quoted. Okay, so it is also allowed to just write the reference and then describe it and link it. For example, you may also write that the same message has been repeated in Surah number 2, ayat number 255 in a little different way. Okay, but the same message of Tawheed. So Surah number 2, ayat number 255 is basically Ayat al-Kursi, which also talks about Tawheed. So Allah Almighty has clearly described the message of Tawheed in both the passages. Okay, so but the important thing is to create the link. So sometimes the students, what they do, they do give quotation, in fact more quotations, but without creating any link. Okay, so quotations are important, but creating link, okay, is equally important. Okay, so if you fail to create link, so it will give the impression that you have just learned the quotation by heart, but you have not comprehended it. Okay, so you need to show your understanding as well. So how can you show your understanding? By creating link, and by showing and by telling the examiner how this particular quotation or other ayah from Holy Quran is relevant here. Okay, and it is also important. So this is how you need to bring relevant quotation, and it is important. Okay, if you don't bring relevant quotation, so you can say still if your answer is strong, so you have chance to secure full marks, but it is better to quote at least one ayah, because this is how it becomes easier for you to gain full marks. Okay, so sometimes you may also you just only write the name of the passage or the surah. Okay, sometimes you quote like this, as we have quoted, means you write the number and the reference of the surah, and sometimes you just quote the message in inverted commas. Okay, so all these are fine. The important thing is how you in fact come up in your answer. Okay, so if you manage to write or quote any quotation properly, so it does not matter how you bring it. Okay, so try to make it make the examiner understand that you have understood it. Okay, and you have created link for it properly. Okay, so show your knowledge and understanding both. Okay, so if you don't even write the name of the surah, and don't then quote the quotation, so if you just give the quotation in an inappropriate way, so then definitely you will not be able to convince the examiner, and you may lose marks. Okay, so about the quotation, I have guided you in detail, because this is very important matter, and many students, they either they fail to bring quotation, and or when they bring quotation, so what they do, so they fail to create link. Okay, so all these things are important. So in the end, then you need to write brief conclusion. Okay, so conclusion does not mean to write 6, 7 or 8 lines. Only 2 lines are also enough. And for these passages, and all these passages, especially from 1 to 5, they are about Tawheed. So normally you may write, like for example, thus being matchless and incomparable, he is the only one who deserves to be worshipped. Okay, so this is how you can write conclusion, and with this your answer for passage has completed. Okay, but now we have some other things about Surah An'am. So Surah An'am, if we talk about, here we have relevant quotations for Surah An'am. So here you can see we have 3 relevant quotations, and all of them, they are equally important, and students they may quote any of them. So for Surah Baqarah ayat number 21 and 22, you may quote ayat number 25 of surah number 21, or ayat number 17 of surah number 23, or ayat number 70 of surah number 17, or ayat number 48 of surah number 4. So all these things, all these ayat are equally important, and any ayah may be brought. But remember, as these ayat, they are about different themes of this passage. Okay, so there should be a clear cut link, as I've just guided you. So if you are, for example, bringing relevant quotation for polytheism, okay, so you must have written earlier or after the quotation about polytheism. Okay, it should not happen that you are writing about God's countless blessings and then you are bringing the quotation about polytheism. Okay, so they should be synchronized with each other. They should be clear cut link between each other. Okay, so in the end, then we have conclusion. So like previous passage, so for Surah Baqarah ayat number 21 and 22, you can also write the conclusion in this way. So being creator and our sustainer, he is the only one who should always be worshipped. So the main focus basically in these passages is why Allah Almighty wants to make us realize his power, his authority, his control. Okay, in return, what does he want? He wants only one thing, that we should accept him as one entity, one God, and avoid every type of polytheism. Okay, so this is basically the spirit of all these passages. So as a conclusion, you are supposed to write this 1, 2, or 3 lines. Okay, so this is all about answer structure. And now briefly we are going to discuss which things you need to follow and which things you need to avoid. Okay, so one by one I just want to quickly go through them. So as I have already told you these things, so just to sum up, so you need to follow the pattern. Okay, if you don't follow the pattern, so do not expect full marks. Okay, secondly, you need to write at least one quotation. More quotations are not required, but at least one quotation should be part of your answer. And then you need to write 15 to 20 lines. Some students write too short answer and they write 7 or 8 lines. On the other hand, some students, they write even 25 to 30 lines. Okay, so normally 15 to 20 lines, they are enough, although content is more important than your length, but this is standard length. Okay, so if your writing is too small, then 15 lines may also be enough, and if your handwriting is moderate, then 18 to 20 lines are enough. Okay, and now what you need to avoid? First of all, you need to avoid paraphrasing. Means never just retranslate it. If you just retranslate it by using some synonyms, okay, so you will in fact lose marks. Okay, and the examiner may rate it as basic answer, and then you may just get 1 or 2 marks out of 4. Okay, so always avoid paraphrasing. Secondly, too many quotations, as I have just asked you, too many quotations should be avoided. Thirdly, rote learning. In all O-level exams and especially in O-level Islamiat, you are not required to learn so many things by heart. Okay, certain things, for example, quotation, definitely you need to learn it by heart. Okay, you need to learn it by heart whether the surah or the passage is Makki or Madani. Okay, however, the whole answers, they should not be learned by heart. If you write the whole answer, the whole passage, so this is how you just waste your time, and then the examiner also comprehend it and understand it, that you have learned it by heart instead of comprehending and grasping the concept. Okay, so do comprehend it properly, and then practice it. Practice writing it once, twice, thrice. So this is how in exams you will be able to create your own answer, and you don't need to be worried. Okay, even for this passage, there is no perfect answer. Okay, 10 different answers may also be perfect. So 10 different students, there is a possibility that they may write their answer in a different way. Okay, some students, they may quote different quotations. Okay, and then they write major themes in a different way. Still, if they follow the pattern, so there are chances that these all students may get or secure full marks. Okay, so even if you are writing the answer once, and then second time your answer is different, and then third time your answer is again, you have produced three different answers, so no problem. Okay, you don't need to be worried as long as you are following the pattern. Okay, so you need to be confident that you will secure full marks. Okay, and then last thing what you need to do, avoid repetition. What students do, they repeat the same thing. Okay, they write the same theme in for example line number 3, and then on line number 6 they again bring the same, and then on line number 11 the same thing, the same in fact theme is repeated by them with the little bit change, and this is going to be, you can say, very harmful thing for you, and this is how you may definitely lose your marks. Okay, so avoid repetition. Okay, and how you can avoid repetition, definitely by study. Okay, so you will have to study and you will have to practice, and with the passage of time, when you will keep on practicing, so you will be able to learn how to write your answer, and then you will avoid repetition. So definitely do ask your teachers to assess your answers, but you yourself, you can also assess your answer. So do write your answers. Okay, and then just assess it. So you will yourself, you will be able to understand whether your answer is perfect, good, or basic. Okay, and you will also realize if there are some repetitions or not. So if there are some repetitions, so avoid them. So when you keep practicing, so then hopefully you will be able to produce perfect answer. Okay, so this is all about how to write major themes, part A answer. Okay, so if you have still any query, you can ask me in comment section, and I will briefly give you the description of this passage or answer structure in description section as well. So thank you very much, and I hope this video would be very useful for you. So keep watching the channel, because I'm going to share the videos related to all important aspects, and not only paper 1, all questions. So we are now as discussing paper 1, question number 1. So in upcoming videos I'll be guiding you how you can write part 2 part B for passages, and then other questions for paper 1 and paper 2 will also be discussed. Okay, thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.